Although I know for some, racing season's in full swing, for others who are just discovering the fun of riding a bike and starting to get faster, they may be looking for a competitive outlet. So for today's video, I want to talk to you guys about what is a crit or criterium and how it differs from a road race. If you're new here, I'm Anwar. I make cycling related content every week, so hit that like and subscribe button to follow me along my journey. Let's get into it.
If they want the smoke, then yeah, it's no jokes, boy, it's up. In that end zone, that's a TD, we finessing.
So what exactly is a crit? A crit is a fast-paced race occurring on a closed course. These courses usually are defined by 9-degree turns or tighter, and cyclists are taking these at full speed. One of the defining facts about a criterium is the fact that usually it's a fixed amount of time, and usually the speeds get all the way up to 30 miles per hour. Average for the pro level. These races can occur basically any place from a neighborhood to city streets. So how does the length of a criterium work? So it's a time-based event. For the people starting off in the novice category, it'll run about 30 to 40 minutes just depending on the race, and it can go all the way up to 70 minutes for the pro category. Those are the people that are maintaining that 30 miles per hour plus at that level. So the timing aspect isn't the only thing that you see when you watch a crit. Or when you're a part of it. There's the other aspect, which is the laps. So the laps is kind of the main focus when you're in a crit, and basically they take the first couple of laps to basically determine how fast the peloton going. That peloton's basically that core group of riders, and they're kind of dictating the pace of how fast it's going. And once they get that going, you'll see a lap counter appear that basically gauges, that tells you, okay, you have 10, 5, and it'll keep counting down all the way up until 1, and that's called the bell lap, and that's the last lap. They'll ring a bell, and racers kind of pick up the speed at that point, and they fight for a position a little bit more to finish off the race. One thing that is interesting about the laps is the laps aren't fixed. Like I said before, basically those laps can vary depending on the course size and the speed of the race. So now that you guys are a little more familiar about what a crit is in general, I want to talk to you guys about some of the specific terminology that you might hear around a crit. Basically, if you hear something called a preem, basically what that is an incentive for the riders to win that next lap. So they'll call it out as the riders are, crossing that start-finish line at any point in the race. And basically this is to make it more exciting for the viewers and to kind of get people to bite the bullet or to kind of lead out the group to get anything from $50 for the lower levels all the way up to like $1,000 maybe for those pro level racers. Another term to be familiar with is basically getting pulled. In this scenario, you've kind of fallen behind the pace of the race, and since the course is tight or there's tight corners and all that kind of stuff, to watch out for the safeties, the officials may pull you out of the race. In this scenario, if you do fall behind or you're not with the main group, it's important to kind of keep riding and just do as best as you can, because in this scenario they still rank you if they pull you, but if you drop out yourself, that's called a DNF or did not finish, and you're basically just not placed in the race whatsoever. These next two terms are really more important if you hit any kind of problem while you're in a race. The first one is basically neutral support. So neutral support, basically a tent or kind of a booth on the race course, and what they do is try to solve any mechanical issue for you that they can. So if your gear stops shifting, if you get a flat, they're going to try to get you up and running, make adjustments, swap out your wheel as quickly as possible so you can get back in the race. Because what they're trying to do is basically get you back in the race so you can just take advantage of a free lap. A free lap basically is if you have any of those mechanical issues, if you get caught up in a crash or if you get caught up behind a crash, you get to go to the neutral service and they'll evaluate making sure that you were affected by the crash, whatever, and get you back in that next lap so you can catch back into the peloton and get back to racing. So with all that being said, what is the difference between a crit and a road race? So the biggest difference between a crit and a road race is really the tightness of the course. So usually, at least in the United States, a crit might be only like half a mile or something that's just going over and over again, and then a road race would be a longer distance, even if it is still on a closed course. And then the other defining characteristic between a road race and a crit is the crit has that free lap. If you hit any kind of issue within a road race, you're gonna have to catch back up. And then also with a road race, usually, unlike a crit, it's not a fixed amount of time, it's a fixed distance. So even if you're going 1 mile per hour, don't know why you would do that. You have to finish, that entire race course. Okay, so if all that sounds interesting to you and you're really interested in racing, the first thing you have to do is sign up for a USA Cycling membership. I'm assuming if you're wondering how to get started into racing, you're a novice, you're in that category. So all you have to do is just sign up for the membership. You don't need the license part, because with the USA Cycling membership, you do get the novice race license. And then when you want to upgrade to Cat 4, upward, you do have to buy that race license. But at least starting off, just sign up and you're good to go. And then how do you find races? So the way that I do it is usually Google searching, talking to people. But the other site that I've kind of started using a little bit more regularly is BikeReg. And on this site, they have a few categories. You can put in your location and they'll show all the races that they have on their site, which I found is most of them in my area. And then alternatively to that, USA Cycling has one too, where you can kind of put in the criteria, find out what kind of race you want to do, where you want to race. They'll show you the races in that area. I've just not found that one as helpful as BikeReg, so that's why I recommend that one. If you guys are interested in watching crits, check out usacrits.tv. They have a ton of races on there, and it's all free. So otherwise, I hope this was helpful. Leave any questions in the comments. I'll be down there to respond. But hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.